Since Max and I started working online in 2016, we have been able to travel to lots of fun places and, more importantly, eat lots of good food. But we had to learn a lot of tough lessons about getting full-time online work done and done well while still enjoying the traveling process and actually seeing stuff. It is what you would call a juggling act. It was funnier when I wrote it. So if you're wanting to take your online work show, whether that is a remote job, freelancing, or building your own online business on the road and want to make sure your work is prepared for your on-the-go workness, and want to make sure your work is prepared for your on-the-go-ness, welcome. Hey, my name is Dea, freelancer, digital business manager, and most recently entrepreneur. And as always, you can find sections on the play bar below. If you want to skip just a certain part of the video, your time is precious, so take what you need. And if you want to watch this on 2x or 1.5x or 1.75x, I will not be offended in the least. Okay, let's dive into the video. All right, the first thing I want to address is the difference between slow travel and fast travel, because we didn't know the difference. Maybe you already know the difference, but we didn't know the difference at first when we started, and we would plan these really quick trips whenever we wanted to go somewhere. I think because in a traditional job, you get such limited vacation days, we tend to think vacation is like 1 week a year, and we try to cram everything in it. So every day is like packed to the brim, scheduled every single day, 8 hours of schedule, and kind of stressful. But I highly encourage you to consider slow travel instead, because you can. You can slow travel when you have a location independent gig. So what exactly is slow travel? Not sure if there's a dictionary definition, but here's the Dea's definition. Slow travel means when you're planning trips, take your time. Drag out that timeline. Obviously check what's legal with visas and everything, but take your time and build in buffer time into your trips themselves. So as examples, we spent 2 months in Bali. We could have easily done 1 week in Bali and tried to be super stressed about it, but we spent 2 months. It was amazing. We got to see lots of stuff and still realistically manage our work and everything. We spent 2 weeks in Korea. We spent months in Taiwan. We spent ages in Spain. Take your time. It is a lot more relaxing to travel this way because then you aren't rushed from point A to point B to point C to point D in like 1 day. And it actually gives you enough time to see interesting things, not just the touristy things, but to experience culture, eat more food, which isn't that the whole point, and meet lots of cool people. The second thing we want to always do up front is what I intelligently called be clear in my notes. Not super helpful note, but basically it means let people impacted, aka your clients, your employer, know way ahead of time, 1, what's happening when, 2, how nothing will change for them, how you will guarantee it, 3, how you plan to keep everything okay for them and not an issue. That's really all clients are thinking about is how will this trip that this person is taking impact their work and availability? And you want that answer to be, it will not impact anything as long as I will aim to control the chaotic process of traveling, right? So things you can do, keep communication channels open, make sure you're checking in as the client expects daily, weekly, monthly. And I know this might seem like, I don't know, a duh thing, but I can't tell you how many times I have managed freelancers or contractors who then started to travel and they just dropped off the face of the earth and they never checked in, they never responded anymore. And that's really upsetting, I'm sure, for both parties. So make sure that you are creating some sort of a plan that 1, shows the client that nothing will change for them, right? How will you ensure that everything's fine for them? And 2, how often they can expect updates, ideally at the normal pace that you normally update them at. All right, all the planners at the party say, hey, I planned this party down to the second, so I need you to take off your shoes, come in, begin having fun in the next 30 seconds, or we'll be behind schedule. Duh. I have to say this point. I'm a big planner, and I invite you all to do the same when you're going to be traveling. Are there big things coming up in your work that you should plan your travels around? AKA, I would never plan to be at an airport or be cat sitting on a remote bad Wi-Fi farm during a client's launch. That's like a big no-no, right? Ideally, make sure there's no time-sensitive work happening when you're actively traveling instead of settled in a new location. And I always try to make sure that when I'm planning trips, if there is a launch that's happening in that period where I'm traveling, that I arrive at that location a few days before the launch even begins so that I can personally get settled and not feel like I'm trying to catch up on a launch while I'm still on the go and trying to figure out where the Airbnb is and they gave us the wrong password and I have to try to find Wi-Fi because I don't have mobile data. that kind of stuff. And always, of course, ask yourself, what are you going to do to make sure things are okay for the client in a different time zone if you're traveling really far? I don't recommend doing this, but this is something that I did once upon a time when I was at the peak people pleaser phase of my life, where I didn't want my time zone to be an issue for a client. I was in Taiwan at the time and she was in EST. I also had other clients in EST, which is like, if you know, Taiwan and EST is like 12 hours apart. It's like the worst time zone match ever. So I would wake up every single day at 4:50 a.m. to have calls with the client at 5 a.m. because it was 5 p.m. for her. So yeah, I don't think you need to go to that extreme. I don't think it was sustainable. Just put this hat on of like, how can I make sure I'm keeping things easy for the client? How can I make sure, because I'm the one traveling, I can accommodate them as much as I can? Obviously, don't bend over backwards, but how can I make this as smooth as possible for the clients so that they're not thinking, ugh, I wish they weren't traveling, or ugh, like this is really inconvenient, or ugh, like maybe I should hire somebody else or something, which they probably won't if you're an awesome freelancer. And also plan ahead for tech stuff, like back up your laptop, have a plan for tech issues. Like if you break your laptop, where's the nearest repair or Apple store? That can be a huge issue. If you break your laptop on the go and that's your only laptop that you have with you, I mean, who's carrying 2 laptops in their backpack? So have a plan for like, what am I gonna do if my battery craps out? What am I gonna do if I smash my display? All things I've done before. All right, Wi-Fi needs its own section because, you know, it's Wi-Fi. Do not settle for bad Wi-Fi. You might think it's fine when you're booking that beautiful Airbnb in the middle of nowhere, but you'll want to cry when you disconnect from a client call every 3 minutes and understand 10% of what they're saying and then have to use a hotspot that's super expensive. Draw your own assumptions about the specificity of that situation. If I'm staying at an Airbnb, I always ask for speed tests from the host before I book it. If we are treating ourselves by staying in a hotel, I always look them up on booking.com and TripAdvisor, and then I go to the reviews and I filter the reviews by the word Wi-Fi just to see if there are major red flags. You can also look up co-working places nearby just to be safe, or cafes with good Wi-Fi as backup plans in case, the Wi-Fi is really bad, that you can just be like, no worries, I'll just hop out to the cafe that's a 15-minute walk away and I'll be fine. And of course, you can also get portable Wi-Fi if you want extra safety, like some of us do. There are lots of great options. You can Google portable Wi-Fi or pocket Wi-Fi and then your continent of travel, and there are tons of options now. Thank goodness. All right, the 5th tip is to manage your expectations. The first expectation to manage is you're not on vacation. You have to manage those expectations that you won't be able to go sightseeing for 8 hours a day or lounge by the pool all day and be totally checked out and not even bring your phone. Traveling while working is amazing, but it's very different from going on a fully offline vacation. So just be prepared that it's not going to resemble a vacation in a lot of ways, and you have to be prepared to essentially pick up your work routine and set it up in a different location. That's really the best analogy. It's like you're picking up your work routine and you're just going to be working from a different setting, and it's not like a vacation in the conventional sense. Second expectation to manage is it's going to be chaotic the first few days. That's normal. If you are an anxious person, first of all, high five for anxiety, high five. Second, accept that it'll be chaotic every time you go somewhere new because you don't have a routine yet. That's normal, right? Like my normal stages of working somewhere new have always been, this is like my recipe, my formula. First, OMG, we've made a huge mistake. I regret this. 2, OMG, I don't know where the dentist is here. What if we have a tooth emergency? OMG, I don't know anyone here. Nobody here cares about us. What if something happens to us? 4, oh, that's a cute cafe. 5, ooh, this is really good food. 6, am I the drama? 7, anyway, so just brace yourself. Like discomfort is part of it. That's what makes it fun as well. Manage your expectations that you might not immediately love it in the beginning. You might not immediately love a location. And sometimes, yes, you will deeply regret your decision when your boyfriend breaks his back halfway across the world and is completely immobile for a few days and you need to be out of the country in 7 days. Otherwise, you'll be in visa trouble. So just be prepared for that. The third thing to maybe keep in mind also is that you'll probably have a few more errands to run than usual in the beginning and from your normal life and your normal routine, and to budget your time accordingly. Things like visa runs, finding a good grocery store, getting toothpaste and shampoo, finding an electronics store to buy a new charger, figuring out transportation. So just be kind to yourself. If you feel like you're not getting as much done, it's because you have more to do all around. All right, this one is an important one. Find and keep your routine intact as much as possible. This was one of my biggest lessons learned ever, is without a routine, I am nothing. So here are a few things we learned after a while. Number one, we always try now to travel on the weekends. And this is kind of the opposite of what we thought it was going to be, because we thought it was a huge advantage that we could travel during the week because we're more flexible with our work. But after a lot of traveling during the week, we realized it's actually super stressful if you know you have a full work day to get work done at airports, on the plane, which are already stressful environments for some of us, me. Then if there are delays during travel, it's so much more stressful too, because you're exhausted trying to figure out which way is up or down, and your client is like, hey, can you hop on a call? And you're like, no, Brad, I have to get to gate 456B and I'm currently at gate 3. And I don't know about you, but my brain is kind of black and white. It's like we're in work mode or we're in travel mode. So even if I'm traveling on a Tuesday, my brain is like, we're in travel mode, we're on vacation. I can't process that it's a work day today. I can't process that it's Tuesday. It's like this weird alternate universe where like weekdays are not weekdays anymore. It like assumes it's some kind of weird 8th day of the week reserved for traveling where work does not have to happen. And it gets me all wonky as well once I land somewhere. Like everything, and not to mention you might be jet lagged too, right? So we normally try to travel on Saturday, so we have Sunday to like calm down, and then we can do our work on Monday again and slip back into that weekly schedule. Second thing is we always try to set up a routine right away when we get to a new place. So like, are there elements of your work routine that you can bring across the world? So here's something Max and I did a lot. We would always find the closest Starbucks or Coffee Bean or larger coffee chain in the first few weeks of a new place, because Starbucks is a relatively universal experience no matter where you are. You know, they have good enough Wi-Fi, you know, they have your matcha latte the way you like it, you know, the look and feel of it is generally the same. And sometimes when you're halfway across the world stressed, being in that familiar environment where you know you normally do work can give you that sense of normalcy and routine to get you back into a work schedule. So we do that normally in the beginning just to adjust ourselves. And then after a while, we try to find smaller coffee shops and local cafes and stuff like that, obviously. But that sometimes helps us like feel a sense of, oh, this is a work environment again. Maybe for you, it's having a type of drink or snack or food or type of table or chair. Max travels with his entire keyboard, his entire setup, and I know that puts him in his work routine immediately. So the third thing I will say about keeping a routine is that it's really helpful to batch your activities, especially work and personal, so you don't switch in and out with 20 minutes of like work pockets. You know what I mean? So if you plan on sightseeing, don't plan to do that for 2 hours, then work for 1 hour, then sightsee for 2 hours. Like obviously this is a personal preference thing, but it's so much easier to just be able to check out and fully enjoy it and know you don't have to carry your laptop around or worry about XYZ while you're trying to enjoy yourself. So try to batch your days accordingly, right? So pick certain time blocks where you know you're going to get your work done, and then pick other bigger time blocks or time chunks where you can actually enjoy and like enjoy all that there is to the life of traveling while you work full time. Those of you that have the itch for travel, where are you wanting to head to with your laptop taped to your back? Let me know in the comments so I can steal your cool places. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye!